Hi there! Thank you for watching this video about the International Bachelor's in Psychology. My name is Arsene, I'm the current student ambassador, and today I want to tell you all about what studying psychology in Leiden looks like. So let's start with a question. What do you think of when you imagine a psychologist at work? Well, let me guess. You probably have the picture of a patient and a psychologist sitting in the room. The patient is expressing her worries, her concerns, and telling her story, and the therapist is taking notes, listening attentively, and offering guidance and support. Well, this picture is actually accurate, but this is clinical psychology. And the thing is that many people stereotype this to be the entire field of psychology, which is actually not true. Here you can see a number of subdisciplines of psychology, and I would like to highlight 4 of them, which are also covered in your first year program. So let's start doing this by giving an example of a daily event that everybody is familiar with, namely traffic. Let's start with developmental and educational psychology. So psychologists in this field are concerned with the development of children, including in educational settings. So because children need to learn the traffic signs to stay safe, a developmental psychologist might design a little game to help children to learn this. And while the child is playing this game, they can assess the children's learning abilities and to see how well they are picking up this information. Moving to cognitive psychology. So cognitive psychology wants to know how well we are able to process the information from the outside world. And in this picture, you can see a person wearing a VR headset, which stands for virtual reality. So cognitive psychologists can make use of VR technology, and they can stimulate a number of driving scenarios, and they can drive useful insights and see how well people perceive the traffic signs. And using these insights, they are able to design a better and more user-friendly roadmaps, which can enhance the general safety. Moving to the statistics as our next subfield. So statistics is very important in psychology because a lot of psychologists drive their insights and analyze data through statistical methods. So let's say psychologists are wondering, how do melatonin levels affect drivers or driving accidents? Let me break this down for you. Melatonin is a hormone which makes us feel sleepy. And so psychologists may gather data on when most road accidents occur. And they may find that most road accidents occur at night, when the melatonin levels are typically higher. So based on this insights, they may drive the conclusion that there is a relationship between sleepiness at night, so high melatonin levels, and the number of road accidents. Usually, statistics help us to drive useful insights and turn data into real-life examples. Lastly, I would like to talk about social and organizational psychology. Social and organizational psychology is worried about how people behave in group settings. So let's imagine a little scenario. You and your friend are going back from school and you see a traffic light that turns red. What if your friend says, "Let's pass anyway, nothing is going to happen"? Are you going to follow or are you going to stop? Well, this is called peer pressure, and social psychologists explore phenomena like this, and they want to see how this affects your decision-making skills. Organizational psychologists, on the other hand, look at the similar examples, but within the workplace settings. So organizational psychologists might wonder, what are some good qualities of a good leader, or how can people stay motivated? Well, we just talked about 4 different subdisciplines within psychology, and all the subdisciplines are going to be covered during your first year program. But you may be wondering, we talked about peer pressure, leadership, child development. What do all these things even have in common? And the answer is human behavior. Well, to its core, psychology always comes back to answer the questions of why do people do what they do and why do they think what they think. And sometimes you may even wonder, why do I suddenly have the urge to pee when I'm nervous? Or how can someone break an unhealthy smoking habit? Well, you are going to explore the insights that come out of research, and if you think that you like the research aspect of psychology a lot more, you are going to have the chance to conduct research yourself as well. Well, we talked about psychology, and hopefully now you have a better understanding of what psychology entails, but it is also nice to discuss some practical matters. So psychology offered in Leiden is a full-time program, and after graduating, you're going to obtain the Bachelor's of Science degree. So it is also important to mention that psychology is a numerus fixus program, meaning that there are a limited number of spots. And because it is a numerus fixus program, there's a selection process. The selection process generally gives you a better idea of what you can expect the program to look like or what you can expect the material of certain courses to be. Other than that, if you decide that psychology is the right fit for you, you are not only choosing psychology as a field to study, you also have to choose a university where you would like to study psychology. And why would you choose for Leiden? There are a number of reasons why would you choose for Leiden, but I would like to highlight a few of them. So to start with, we have a diverse learning environment, as we have lectures, we have work groups, and we have practicals. During the lectures, you get to know all the new information and you mainly listen, while during the work groups, you get to practice this information. And you may be asked to give presentations or to collaborate with your fellow students. When it comes to practicals, you learn how to make use of statistical software. What personally intrigued me is the unique study path. So starting from the second semester of the second year, you can choose your own courses. So if you are sure which subdiscipline of psychology you want to follow, you can choose all the specialization courses related to that. However, if you are unsure where your interests lie, you can keep your options broad and pick and choose the specialization courses and electives that you find interesting. Other than this, we focus on practical and academic skills, and by academic skills we mean knowing how to write academically or how to do proper literature review and how to give academic presentations. When we talk about practical skills, we talk about conversation techniques or interview techniques, knowing your own strengths and weaknesses, and knowing how you function in a group. These two skills combined are going to prepare you for the job market by focusing on your own special talents and skills. Most psychology graduates end up choosing to do a master's degree, and it is nice to mention that here at Leiden we have a wide-ranging master's programs. So we have both clinical and non-clinical options, and we have both research and non-research masters. Most psychology graduates end up working in many different sectors, such as business sector, healthcare, education, academia, and research. Well, hopefully you now have a better understanding what you can expect psychology to look like and what does psychology look like at Leiden. But how to know if psychology is really the right fit for you? Well, there are a number of criteria. First of all, you need to be curious about human behavior. As I mentioned before, that is the ongoing theme throughout the whole program, so it is important that you have real interest in what human behavior is. Secondly, you need to be motivated. I mentioned before that psychology is a full-time program, and apart from lectures, practicals, and work groups, you are going to have a lot of self-study hours. And studying at university is so different from studying in high school because the pace is much faster and the workload is much heavier. Therefore, you need to have the right motivation and a great planning skills in order to be able to follow up with the program. Third, you need to have a broad range of interests. You are going to have subjects ranging from social psychology to health psychology, which are completely different from one another. So it is important that you have interests in many different fields, although we understand that not every subject is going to appeal to you equally. And last but not least, you need to be open to scientific literature and research. We are not asking you to read scientific journals on your free time, but Leiden offers research-oriented bachelors, and therefore it is important that you are open to a research approach. Well, now you have a better idea of what psychology in Leiden looks like and whether it is the right fit for you or not. Although you may have some questions of what studying psychology in Leiden looks like, or maybe about the selection process, maybe about the first-year programs that you want to study. Well, the solution is easy. You can come to our open days and ask all your questions to the student helpers who are currently studying psychology and are more than happy to give you some insights about what the program looks like. Or you can participate in our experience days and take part in a sample lecture. Or even better, you can become a student for a day and experience what it's like to be a first-year psychology student. However, if you still have any more questions that you didn't find the information from, you can always visit our website and click on the links. With this said, we hope that you have enjoyed this video and we hope to see you at one of our information activities.